Here's our tiger video. Our tiger is going to be done with, let's put this, I'm doing this a little differently, so it's going to take me a second while I get this thing on here so I can have it a little closer to me, get these proportions right. Let's see. There we go. Now it's right up, no, that's not right. Let's see this. All right, now it's right up next to me. Okay, good. All right, now it is. I'd start over again, but there's no telling it how long it will take the next time. Okay, tiger. Now, the tiger is going to be done with 3 brushes. The big square brush, the large angle brush that I've already got some paint on, and this number 2 brush. It's very important we get this number 2 brush. It's the one that's in our pack that we use for the flamingos. It's got a rounded edge to it. It's not squared on the edge, so it's easy to go up and down with it. And it's to try to get some really good flat ones because we're going to do a lot of detail work with that. Okay, here it comes. I want to start off by laying in with a little. I'm putting a little bit of orange in my yellow. You do it if you like, but I want to lay in where the nose is, like we normally do. It kind of work out from that. If I find a third of the way down, is, or up. Right about there, it's about a third, right about like that. Okay, what I want to do is come up about an inch-ish, and down about an inch. Not too much, but about like that. So top and bottom, so I'm actually straddling the third of the way, okay? Then I want to come out and start at the bottom and bring up a curve that comes a little bit above this point here. And I want it to come out about 2 or 3 inches. So I'm just going to gradually just bring that up. It's a little kind of a straight line that kind of curves up a little bit. And then once I get to this point right here, then I'm going to curve it up a little bit, kind of like that. So that's going to be the additional part of the nose. And then this is going to be a little different sort of a shape. But from this point, what I'm going to do is make like a little curve that comes up and over. It's going to end right about here. So this point and this point are about the same. So it's just going to come up a little bit and then kind of curve around like that. It's like a little roller coaster, but something akin to that. All right, now once that's done, I'm going to drop down about a third of the way, put a little mouth part right there. I'm going to raise this up. I have a feeling that this was not in the frame. And now it is, okay? And then I want to come over about a quarter of the way on the bottom. So this is about halfway, about a quarter of the way, right about there. And I want to come up from that point about 2 or 3 inches, put a little mark like that. And then I'm going to work my way down from there with a little curve. I'm going to do this lightly because we don't want to have a whole lot of yellow up in that area. So I'm going to curve this down like that. And then right when I get around here, I'm going to curve up a little bit, okay? That could be a little bit. I mean, if you're going to err to the, I kind of aired mine to the right a little bit, err to the left if you're going to err, so it's a little bit more in that neighborhood. Okay, then the shape of the head is going to come out like right about between this point and the center, but I would say over about 2 or 3 inches, right about like that. And then you can make a little curve here that this kind of goes like a little parenthesis curve. So I got the bottom of his mouth, and then that's going to keep coming out like that. And then when we do this next, we're not going to actually take it up from the snout like we always do. We're going to bring it up from around the outer part of his beard or whatever it is. So I'm going to look now for the wide part of my painting, okay? Wide part of his head. And let me pause that for a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and we're going to move on here. I want to figure out where the wide part of the head is, which is going to be out this way, right in the middle. So find the middle, and then come in just about 2.5, 3 inches, right about like that. And then what I want to do now is I want to bring up a slightly angled line like that, slightly angled, and then essentially do a circle. It goes all the way up like this, but I want to stop it out about a little bit over from the halfway point on the top. So find the halfway point right about there, and then go over to the right about an inch, about like that. So what I'm trying to do now is make a pretty round shape that comes out. So here I go. I'm just gonna from here, from that point, I'm gonna bring it out, just sketch it lightly, like that, and then bring it up, bring it on up to there, and you get the nice shape, like something like that. All right. Then once that's done, I can paint my ears in it. So I'm going to get my ear down about 3 or 4 inches, like right about there. And I want that to come up about halfway here. So halfway between this point and that point. I'm just going to kind of curve it up like that. Just give myself a nice little curvy ear, like we do for the other ones. And then the the back, the arch of the back, is going to be definitely above the center. So the arch of the back is about a third of the way down the canvas, about like that. Starts here, and it goes down. Again, that's not critical that they get it exactly up and down, because it could be turned different ways or leaning different ways. But it just kind of comes down and off like that, a little bit above the center on mine. Okay, and then once that's done, we'll get into the eye. The eye on this one, usually we draw the eye with a long line that matches up with that. We're not going to do that on this one. What I want to do on this one is find my way to about a third of the way down, which is right about a third of the way. That was a third, so another third is right about there. Well, a third of the way down, I'm going to come over, and I want to definitely be over from this. And the way I've got the tear duct, it's right above this point here, right where this low part of his mouth is. So I'm going to come up, 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 and I'm going to come up to that point, just put a little mark like that, okay? Then I want to draw a little vertical line up slightly, just a slightly little vertical line like so. And then I want to come about halfway over, remember that's my halfway point, and I want to come down what I would call about 2 inches above that. So if here's this point, about 2 inches above, it's right about there. It's not too far from the quarter point actually. You use the quarter point, half point, quarter point, that's pretty close. And then come over to the halfway point, which is right about there, put a little mark right about there. So that's going to give me my eye perfectly well. And then I'm going to start down like this and then curve up and over, and come to this like that. Make sure they come up and over, don't just go straight out, just up and over. And then I'm going to come to the center of it, which is right about there, and on either side of that I'll put my eyeball. Now I'm going to come in about an inch and a half or so like that, and then up a little bit as well here too, so that I'm straddling this center point by about an inch and a half or so. So this and this are roughly the same distance and from the center. I think it's just like that, just a little curve. Now remember, it's a circle, so it's got to look like it would become a circle. I don't want it to be too flat. Okay, then once that's done, I'm going to start down here and give myself a little shape that kind of goes like this, very kind of an erratic shape, so it looks more natural. Just a little erratic shape, kind of goes like this, and comes up like that. And then I want to bring a line up from there that comes up about halfway between the head and here, about the quarter point, about like that. And that's just going to keep arching up about like that, kind of about like that. And then what I like to do now, so people don't lose track of what's what, is just get a little bit of that yellow paint or yellow orange. Just put a little paint in there like that, just so you remember, okay, this is the orange part, this is the white part, because it can be really hard to keep track of that. And I want to come over just a little bit from there, about like that, And I want to I can keep this coming in a little bit like that, and then just curve it in and out and up and off. Just it's very, very kind of sinewy. This curve right here, but where it curved in before it curved up again, that is the arch of the kind of the lid of the eye, you know. So you get the hood of the eye behind there. So this curve is like the curve of the eyeball. And then from there, I'm going to put some more separation in. Again, put a little bit of that yellow right there. I'm going to come down, I want to come about an inch up from my nose, and I want to just draw very lightly a line that comes up and around the nose like that, okay? It just comes up, and then right when it gets up to, you know, right about where the actual nose ends, I'm going to curve it over a little bit like that. And then curve it down some, so that I curve it down and out, so that I'll start to build that little white area that's there. And I'm going to angle back and up a little bit like that, backing up a little bit. And then this is all the orange part of them. So I put a little bit of orange there. You know, this is white, so I'll put a little bit of orange there, or yellow, just so I don't get confused. And then over here, the white part of his beard is going to start right out from where the end of the eye is, right about there. It's going to angle down some, like that, a little bit above where the shoulder was. And of course, it's all very linear right now. It's going to be a lot looser when we go to paint it. And then from here, I'm going to come up a little bit, like that, just up a little bit, so I have a sense of his snout actually raising up this this orange color. So it comes up a little bit, and then it just pretty much just comes up like that, and just arches around like that. But it's nice if you bring this out and up a little bit. And then once that's done, I think that's all I want to do to pre-draw it. So I'm going to be right back, and we'll start painting them in. Okay, now I've just had the a little bit of yellow orange on my brush. I'm going to paint this area in here yellow orange. So I'm going to get a big scoop of yellow, little tiny bit of orange, same brush, the angle brush, just kind of put it up in there like that and just blend it around some. I want it to be really light, not too much orange, just a little bit, kind of like that. And then paint that across and in so that that's all painted. So I got my eyeball all ready, looking all good, okay? Then I'm going to paint my, let's go ahead and start painting the white part. I'm gonna rinse my brush out in the water, which I have none, of course, and I'll be right back, and then we'll paint in the white part. Okay, now I'm gonna get my big brush, and I'm gonna paint the white part in, and the white part is pretty well identified all through there by lines. This is all a white area here and also up in here. So again, this is just painting white, so I just want to get a great big super white with a big brush, just paint all this white in through here, all that white. I'm going to go a little quick with this and not get it too white, but you know, if they've gotten a bunch of yellow lines in there that don't want, just make sure they spackle over it. But you can see from the finished painting, or they will too, that a lot of this, try not to lose this little area right here where you've brought this in, so they can paint around that. Shoot, got dipped into the yellow. You might even have them paint that a little darker before they start to paint the yellow. Paint the white, rather. I'm sorry, I'm kind of rushing through this and it shows. All right, so here we go. Get all that white up on there, and then just get this in here enough to where we can paint down into it, because we're going to paint down into it with the brown, with the orangey color, and with that orangey color, I will. Oh, there goes the white. There goes the yellow streaking through there. With the orange color, we'll bring that in and let that look a little more naturalistic. So than it does now. You know, it just looks real trimmed and cut and unnatural. Okay, so there's all that. This is white up here, as the ear is white, and this part up here is white. So once I've got that painted, which shouldn't take too long, I'm going to paint, don't forget, under here too. And I'm going to go ahead and start painting my my orangey color. Now, the orangey color I'm going to do with this big brush, and I want to have a decent one so I can do some little effects with it on the edge. But the color I want to do on here is going to have some white in it, but it's going to be mostly, there's a little brown in there too. I didn't think I told you to put brown in there at the beginning. I didn't, because I don't have anything on my plate. So I'm going to get a little bit of brown to darken up that orange. And I want the orange color, I want to get a sense of that orange color as I'm starting to paint it, to make sure it looks about like a, you know, like I think a tiger should. So I'm going to get a scoop of white. I had some white, I'm going to get some more. And a little bit of orange. Put a little bit of orange on there like that, a little bit of orange. And then put a little bit more orange on there. Again, just trying to work this out so I can figure out what I have before I start to use it, like we do, like that. Maybe a little bit more. I can work over in here a little bit. I'll put a little bit of brown on there, just a little bit, not too much. I'm going to scoop a whole lot more orange on there. I think you could use a whole lot more orange. There we go, something kind of like that. That's looking good. But there's not really yellow in this color. It's mostly, it's white orange with a little bit of that brown. Okay, now here we go. I'm going to bring this up like this. And when I come up around here where my white was, hopefully my white's a little wet. It's probably not going to be when y'all do it. But when you bring this up, try to bring it so that you've got a little bit of a roughness there. So you kind of bring it lightly. I'm kind of swinging the brush a little bit, and it looks like the edge is just not real hard. It looks a little bit fuzzy, you know? And then I'll bring it around like that. And then over here, same deal. I'll paint all this. Don't lose track of where you are. I'm in here like that. Come around the nose area. Okay, the nose area is not going to the nose, it's going to the white area above the nose. So when I paint this around here like this, I want to just very lightly brush down over into that white area, something like that. Just very lightly, just down to the white area, as randomly as I can. And then I'm going to wipe off a little bit of paint, so it's like up here, I don't have too much paint on my brush anymore. And then super light, I'm going to bring a little bit down and over the yellow line there, so it comes, that orangey fur comes down into the white fur. And I come over this way a little bit too. I make that a little softer down there. And then all this is going to be really soft around here too. Just kind of bring it, but this is a little bit more, it's not real super soft like that. I'm going to bring this around sort of like that. So this bottom part's really erratic. And then the upper part too, the upper part I'll bring around the eye as I had it. And then I'm going to bring it in a little bit like this, bring it in some, in a little bit like that. So you're starting to see it come together. And then I get some more, I get some more color, I get some orange, a little bit of white, put it up on there, a little touch of the brown. Don't go too much, you know, everybody's, oh, I got too much brown. You always make sure you don't get to that point. Okay, then real rough around here like this, very rough. And then, let's see, where am I? Right in through here, I'll get it right down to there. And then just very lightly, just kind of bring some paint out. We're going to form that with the background. And then over here, same deal. Kind of paint out your brush so there's not too much paint on it. And then just kind of bring this in lightly so that that edge looks rough. And a lot of this is going to have black up against it, so you're not going to see it too much. But you will see a lot of it, and it's going to really hurt if it doesn't look, you know, if it looks real sharp, you know, that was a little sharp right there. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to paint this, And this area is going to be a little bit darker, but not much because it's got a little bit of brown in it. I'm sorry, a little shadow in it. So I'm going to put a little bit more brown to it, a bit more brown. And then I'll just come up around there like that. Let's go ahead and get our shape first, and then take it off, and then go around like this, get all that up on there. I think this is going to go a lot quicker and easier than the other ones because there's not so many parts to it, and it's not going to be as, depending on how these little black stripes go, it's not going to be as challenging as some of that line stuff. Okay, now once I'm around there, I'm use the edge of my brush and come in like we do, come in a little bit negative space, and give it a little bit of a roughness to that white just by bringing up my orange just lightly, kind of just very lightly and erratically, just like that, just so it doesn't look so hard anymore, you know, so harsh, but also not real patterned, you know. Okay, once that's done, let's rinse out the brush. Let's go ahead and paint that nose. That nose ought to be able to be painted pretty easily with the big brush. So I'm going to get my brush, rinse it out and dry it, get some, a little bit of red and a whole lot of white, kind of like that, so I get a nice pink nose, not too bright. And then I'm just going to go around that little shape like that, use the edge of your brush, and I'll probably get that a little bit higher. I'm going to go a little bit tighter like this and get that on there, sort of like that. And that's it. I guess it's always nice to put a little bit more red in there and kind of run it through so it doesn't look quite so solid. Just kind of like that, a little bit more. There we go. Get more white on there too. Okay, sorry. That's one of the reasons I'm rushing. I'm getting a lot of phone calls. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back again. Let me get the paint ended up. We were painting the nose, and I'm just going to get a little bit more pink on there. Uh-oh, a little too much, but that's okay. We'll deal with that later. Okay, now once that's done, I'll go ahead and paint the background, and then we'll have everything painted when we start working on the detail work, which is going to be fun and a little challenging, but nothing we can't manage. Okay, lots of yellow, a little bit of green I'm choosing here for mine, so I'm going to put a bunch of yellow on there, a little bit of green, big scoop of yellow, a little bit of green, same brush, big brush. Blend it around some lightly, and then I'm going to go use the brush kind of flat like this, so you use the corner of it. And just kind of make sure that that's a very irregular looking edge there, kind of like that, very, very irregular. And then same thing down here, make sure that's irregular. You're going to have to cut in like we cut in there and create that edge, unless it happens to be wet. So just so the end of it actually goes over into the green some, just so it doesn't look, into the orange, so it doesn't look so flat. And then bring this down to here. Same thing, a little rough, and then down here, you know, it's just like we do with the other cats. So a little bit of like that. And that's the edge. That is the edge of the cat. So I'm going to make sure it looks as reasonably even as possible. So here we go. Lightly, I'll work that through. And okay, that's that. Now I'm going to go from there to my angle. Let me see. Let's go to the angle brush first because I want to get a little bit of structure on here. I'm going to go to black now, and I want to paint this eye. Okay. Now the eye's going to start down here a little bit in the orange, and I wanted to come up around. Normally I tell people let's do it once and then we'll come back over and make it a little thicker and fuller, so you're not worried about how thick it is and where it's going at the same time. So I'll just kind of bring it up and over like that, go right up against that yellow orange I painted, and this is just going to come over and try to make it a little bit loose as it ends there, so it has a little roughness to it. And then I'll go back over and make it a little thicker, but evenly thick, because it's just like an open eye, so the lid is there with a little bit of lashes. And then I'll come around the eye itself, just like that, just a nice curve like that, and do the same thing with it. Bring that around also, a little thicker. But I'm going to leave a little gap here and there so that it looks a little bit thicker, but has a little bit of a irregular look to it, kind of like that. And then over here, I'm going to put a little shadow, kind of a tear duct slash shadow. I was going to come down like this and wipe your brush off so there's not too much paint on it, and then just kind of lightly bring some of that down so it still has an angled look to it. I want it to look like it's like it's angled up some, but I don't want it to look like it's ending real harshly, you know, so kind of like that. And then, looks pretty good. All right, then we'll go and do this nose thing. On the nose, what I want to do is start right about here and just come right along like that. Come right along like that. And then remember that little curve up we had? Just kind of lightly curve that up a little bit, kind of lightly curve it up like so. And then I think we're going to do the rest of it. I'm just looking to see. I think we can do most everything else with this other brush. So Okay, now here I go. By the way, I think at the beginning I said you don't need the small brush. We do need the small brush. It's been a busy day and I was trying to get this done. I'm sorry that I'm a little over at it. So, brush that I want to make the stripes with. Now, I got to do this a couple of different ways. I've got to make this with the brush on its edge. And the first thing I want to do is mix up a light gray. So white with a little teeny bit of gray. Just a little bit of gray. But I want it to be real light, okay? Real light. And very lightly, what I want to do is I want to figure out the arc of these things, okay? Now, remember, there's a little arc up here for the mouth. So let's just take a little bit of that gray and just do like this and like this. It's not going to be gray, but I just want to make sure I know where that's going to be. And then let's go ahead and just make this little part right here too. We're going to cover all this over, but I don't want to make it too heavy. Very light, okay? And then here what I've got are just basically 3 areas that I'm going to make stripes. I'm going to come up here and down here, maybe a couple inches this way, a couple inches that way, and just very lightly make a little curve down like this. And I mean super light, okay, super light. And then down here, same thing. This one's going to go from the kind of the edge of where the muzzle starts, and then come down a little bit, and then go up to here. So, and the other 2 are like this when they join up. And that's going to come down like that, just kind of meet up a little bit lower like that. The next one's going to come from the middle of the muzzle, like right about here, and it's going to come out and up about to there, okay? Very simple type stuff, simple lines, you know? And then I'm going to start doing my, my gray parts. Now my gray parts are going to be white and black. And this is going to be actually part of my striping. Now, when I do this, I want to do it with the brush on its edge, and this is going to be the key to making this painting work. I want to go up and down like this, very lightly up and down like that, and very tightly up and down. So instead of drawing a stripe, the stripe's actually made out of vertical hair that's falling down and going up, but it happens to be arranged in a stripe. So I got to make all that hair. Now I'm going to skip around a little bit like this. And just kind of put it around a little bit like so. Same thing down here, put some down like that. And I'm not doing it all because I'm going to be putting some, I'll be putting some black ones, of course, on this. So kind of bring that up like this a little bit, kind of work it like that. And work this through here. Again, just give it a little bit of gap here and there. All around like this. I get a little bit more of it. And there's that, and then same thing down here. Now, down here I'll do the same thing, just these little bits. Now, maybe make sure you have enough paint on your brush because I don't want it to look too scratchy. I just want it to look thin and light. And maybe I'll bring it up occasionally, you know, have a little more interesting things happening. I'm gonna bring it up like that, and up like this. So, and this is it's almost like background here, you know. I've got to make it look like there's something going on that's not just black. And then across here, what I'm going to do is bring this down like that. It's all going to be black through here, but right about here I'm going to start picking up some of this. And this is going to be, a lot of what you see here will be actually part of the edge because I don't want to put a harsh line there. So I'm going to bring a little bit of this down along like that, just kind of up and around. And make sure that you're going in the same arc with these strokes. It doesn't go up and down, it goes in the same arc as the hair would, you know, like that. And then, you know, kind of bring it up a little bit. Again, it looks a little funny right now, but when that black goes on, it looks great. All right, like that. So that was pretty good. Okay, then up at the top up here, I'll do the same thing. I'm gonna get myself a little bit I'm in this white area, okay? I'm just gonna bring a little bit out from here and then do it really lightly coming out like that from that little part where we're curved in. And then just work a little bit lightly over this way toward the eye, just a little bit like that. And then I'll put a little bit in there, and then a little bit up at the top comes down kind of around like that. And that's that. And then that'll be fine. And then let's see, I think that's going to work. Okay, is that all of it? Pretty much. All right, I might come back with some gray, but I think that pretty well gets us set up. All right, I'm going to take a break and then come back. We'll do the black. Okay, here goes the black. I'm gonna get some black on the same brush, give it a little scrape, make sure you scrape it well. And now this is gonna be more demonstrable here, so I gotta make sure I do it, you know, well. Let's start where we've already gone, okay? I'm gonna come up here like this. Now, these need to be a little more bold. Don't be afraid to make them bold because they're not gonna be thick. So I can make them bold up and down like that, and then leave a little gap, you know, or so like that, so it has the natural look, and then bring this up like this. It's kind of like really tight, like tight cursive type stuff like that. Bring it up a little bit like so. You see, it's already starting to look real from a little distance. And then I'll bring it in from here, kind of like that, a little bit, just a little bit, and then bring more down like this. Now this part right here is a little fuller because it goes up and down more like that, so it's got a little bit more to it, kind of like so. And then a little tighter up and through here, like that. And then kind of just let the rest of it be real, just real zigzaggy, but not so patterned. You know, I'm trying to do it a little bit, you know, tighter than looser, and you know, openings and stuff. Then down here, I want to make it a little bit lighter before I get out to the part out here, and then this part's going to be, so see that's a little thick right there, it's going to be, or long, kind of triangular. Do the same thing here, it's just part of their physiology. So it comes a little bit longer like that. So it kind of has this, kind of creates this little triangle look, little V look, and then bring it up a little bit like so, and a little bit like this. And then again, just part of the physiology, a little shadow, a little heavier in through here, like that, a little bigger, heavier, maybe a few little lighter ones. And then up here, it's a lot darker. This is kind of getting into his stripes, you know, so they're a little stronger. Up there, I'm going to bring it in like this and be really full and kind of let this hang down a little bit because it's fuller hair showing, you know, kind of like that. And then around like this, I'm going to bring this out a little bit more, a little bit out like that. Out like so. And then down here, I'm going to do it really lightly because I don't want it to look too much like I'm trying to make a shadow or an outline. So just bring it a little bit like that. A little bit more, and give myself a nice little illusion of a, you know, of an edge of a furry animal. All right, then I'm gonna wipe my brush off a little bit so there's not too much paint on it. Work in this area some more, and very lightly with the brush wiped off and kind of dry. I'll come in here, do a little bit down here, kind of build a little bit of that down there, real dry, up and down like that, and we get a little more paint. But really, you know, not much at all. I don't want this to stand out too much, kind of like that. Then a few out like there like this, a few up here like that. I'm trying to show the beginnings of the actual stripes, but you see it's, at this point, it's not too strong. And so there we go, looks good. Okay, then let's get up in this area. Let's leave all that, let's get down here. All right, down here, what I'm gonna do is the same thing, but I want it to be up and down, and that's gonna be his mouth. So I'm gonna make it a little bit more here, and then just go up and down, right along that little gray line that I did, and then up and down again, real erratic, kind of like that. And then when I get out here, I'll quit. It looks pretty good like that. And I'll wipe off my brush, do a little bit of dry brushing like we do, real dry. I'm gonna bring this down some, lightly down in this area here, a little bit out like that, so it looks like it's more shadow, you know, gray plus shadow like that. Looks more real. Maybe a little bit out here like that too, just a little bit, out like so. And then maybe bring it up a little bit as well, so just get a little bit more variety in that stroke. There we go. All right, now out here, this is going to be a lot of black, so I'm going to put a lot of black in here, like that, a lot of black, but not too much because I don't want it to look all solid. And then once I've got my black on there, I'm going to bring this in. This is going to be another one of those negative space things where I kind of come in like this, and then lightly as I get out here. And then out here, this is all hanging down, so I'll bring this down and up, kind of down and up, sort of thing like that, down and up, around like that. And then I'm going to brush this out nice and full, brush it out, and then brush this out as well, kind of brush it out. And then as I bring it out, it gets dry, so it's starting to look kind of like that gray does. And make sure as you bring it out that you're not immediately getting weak, that it kind of starts to leave little openings of black. And then so by the time I get out here, it pretty much just gives way to my to the edge of my face, you know, without losing all that white down there. And then I'll do a few little like this, kind of to make it a little more transitional there, a few like that. That looks good. And then once I've got that, I'm all set up for my whiskers, and got a nice little lower area down there too. I bring a few little up like that, really dry brush type stuff, light, and it really helps with this. Yeah, it looks much better than it just did. Okay, let's get on to our nose area here. On my nose, I want to get really tight with this. I'm going to wipe my brush off so it's not too much. I'm going to get really tight and go around the nose that same way, just like that. So I'm partly on the white and partly on the pink, you know, like that. And I'm going to work it around, just work it around. And it mostly goes up, and then it kind of curves around like this, and then kind of works its way down, a little fuller down like that. There we go. All right, then once that's done, I will make this little curve here in the nose now. you normally use an angle brush for this, but this is fine, it's kind of small. What I want to do is come out to really close like this on both sides, and make it the little nostril, but keep it kind of close, like this little curve like that, but keep it kind of close. And then let that come in and down so that it actually feeds into a cavity there. And then, but still, I can still a little bit of that outer part sticking out. And then I'll wipe off my brush some, and then just so that doesn't look real harsh, I'll bring that out a little bit, like that, just out a little bit. That yellow was there, but it's kind of going away now. And again, just a little bit like that. And so that looks all good, all right? I'll bring that out a little bit more. A little bit more, maybe a little bit more gently coming out. It looks better a little more gently as it comes out. Okay, then let's get some black. Let's do up around his face there. I'm gonna come up really lightly, get a little bit of this up coming in through here, like that. And I want to start coming up in through here now. I'm going to come up like that. Remember where it kind of curved up a little bit? I'm going to bring that in a little bit, you know, so it's just so it starts to create the little delicate parts of his face under his eye. And then this is going to sort of come around like that. And again, just kind of physiology thing. Little bits coming like this, and then little bits coming out like that. Little bits over here, little bits over there. And, you know, make sure that we're doing it randomly. Get a little more here, a little zigzaggy more through there. Of course, they're all different, of course, but they got to look, you know, reasonably like they're doing what a tiger would do. All right, so like that looks pretty good. Okay, then once that's done, I'm gonna come up around here. I'm gonna put a little bit tight up in there like that, a little tight like this. Tight, 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 but still, you know, tight, but still kind of swing it some. And then I'll come down a little bit more in through here that's a little broader. And it becomes out a little bit, out like there to there. And then a little tighter through here, but not all the way touching his eye so much. And then super light, I'm just gonna put some little marks, like just little marks like that with the edge of the brush. And they're gonna be just little parts where there's some black in there, kind of like that, just over like that, very, very lightly. And then I'm gonna wipe my brush off so it's real dry, and I'm gonna put a little bit of that kind of stuff in through here, but make sure it's real dry looking. And just lightly bring some in through there. Real light, and then a little bit kind of comes down like this. So there's something in there, but it's not real heavy. So just keep it going, and then once that's done, I'm going to let's see, we're getting close here. Okay, real tight in through here, tight in through there, real tight. Get a little bit, and then we'll come out like that some. And come out, but I still got a big white area I'm not going to get all up involved in, kind of like that. And then I'm going to wipe my brush off a little bit so it's dry, and then pull out some light strokes, just very light and weak, very scratchy looking, you know. The scratchy black is kind of taking, doing the same thing that the gray is doing, but this way I can control it so it's more sort of with the black. Do it all at the same time. Kind of like that, looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit looser, a couple of little loose ones in there like that, looks good. Okay, let's see, I'm going to come around his front part here, right in through there, right where that big broad part is. I want to do a little bit of an up and down thing that is a little bit more, like maybe a little bit there, and then it kind of comes down and meets up down here. Again, now I'm trying to really get the black on there nicely. A few little dry brushes down like so, and then up here, real tight like this, and a little bit here. You know, they're gonna have to really kind of stick with you here to get it. I don't want people to just all of a sudden start doing lines everywhere. We got to make it. If they like the way the painting looks, they like it because it looks like a real tiger, and that's going to have to be rendered with some, with some thought. All right, now once that's done, it's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna wipe my brush off some, maybe bring a little bit of gray, a little dry brush gray in through here like that, just a little bit, but just down, very lightly, kind of swing the brush a little bit, maybe a little bit in through here, so it doesn't look quite so solid. Get a little bit more, there's a little shadow in there. I got to put a little bit up in this white area, wipe it off. There's not much in here, I'm going to stay white. Just very lightly, I'll pull some black in like this. Keep it real tighten through here like that. I'm going to come that way a little bit. And a little bit up, just a little bit up in there. Doesn't have to quite correspond directly to that gray. This is not over the gray. This is just more stuff, And then a little bit up in through here, just like a little more up and down. That's just not eyelashes. It's just part of that. Again, just part of him, and a little bits like that, and kind of like that. It's just real real busy with these lines, but not overly done. Okay, then we'll get a little bit more of my dry brush and maybe do a little bit coming in like this, there's a little bit coming in like that, so I get a little more of a sense of, that's a little tricky. I really lightly swing it out, get a little more of a sense of the nose coming out, kind of like that, just very, very, very lightly, super light like that, and light out a little bit like that. I mean, if you're having trouble with it, I put a little bit of orange with it just to make sure we don't get it real, obvious. Okay, let's see, what do we got? I think that's it. Okay, I do my, these little nostril things. I'm gonna do this with the corner of this brush. I'm gonna come back to the gray too. I'm gonna put a little bit I'm gonna do 3 of them. I'm gonna do like this, not unlike the other ones that we do. Bring it up like that, so it curves up a little bit. Then the other one starts in here, and the other one starts like that. So I'm just, again, very random, so you see that, you get an idea of what it is, but it's not patterned around like that. Maybe a few little extra ones that kind of got away. And then like this, like that. And that's where I got too much away. And then once that's done, again, I'm just kind of looking real quick, make sure I got everything. I think that's all that I wanted to do. Maybe bring a little bit of this dry brush up in through here, just a little bit, so that doesn't look real harsh. And then after that, I'm going to get this brush with some more gray on it. And honestly, I probably could have done this earlier, but you may find a spot or two that you can come back and enhance with a little bit of the gray, but make it a little more gray. And I'm going to just do a few of those with the light gray, but very light. So again, so it just looks like there's more shadow going on in there, but they're more random. There's more of these things. He doesn't have just 3 of them, but they're just gray. Very light gray. And then I might bring a little gray up in through here, very light gray, just a little bit. Maybe a little bit down here. I was dry brushing if I want to, just a little bit more. And then if I look at this and I've kind of covered up a lot of my black, I can come back and always do a little bit more gray up in here, kind of with my black, even if it smears it a little bit, and that won't, it won't be a problem at all. Maybe connect this a little bit like that, and it just adds some more. Now that the black is on there, I can put some gray on with more precision, but kind of connect that a little bit longer and a little bit through here. But okay, let's move on. I'm going to do the eye and the whiskers and that's it. Let me see, where was I? I went through there a little bit, like that. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now once that's done, I'll rinse out my brush and dry it, and I'll get the pointy brush. And the pointy brush, I'm going to get some black, and this eye in particular, I'm going to make kind of small. Find the middle. I always find the middle's right about there. And again, I'm gonna put white on top of the black, so I don't care so much on this one. The other ones I'm trying to, try to leave the white if I can, but since his eyeball is yellow, orange, I can't really do that. So once I find where I want to be in the sensor, right about there, I'm going to come about maybe only an inch, half inch on both sides like that, and then just curve around what looks like a half a circle like that, a little bit more than half a circle actually, a little bit more, kind of like that, just kind of round, and then I'm going to paint the whole thing in. Now, the difference with this painting and the other eyes is that the highlight is completely there, even though the pupil is not. So it really adds, I think, a little bit to the menace. So once that's on there, then I can go back to my angle brush. If my angle brush is pretty decent, I'll use the angle brush for this. If it's not decent, I'll use the little number 2 brush. But I don't want these to be real streaming whiskers, not screaming at all. So I'm going to get a really good scrape, maybe even tap it off a little bit on the table. And they're very, very, very hard to even discern, really. They come out a little bit like that, a little bit like this, and it helps to break up that big black area too, which is important. And it comes out like so, and get a little bit more, but you see how very, very, very weak they are. I'm not trying to make a statement with them, out like that. I'm not making them, gray where it's white behind. I'm just bringing them out like this, letting my eye finish them off. Maybe a little bit out there like this. Maybe a few that crosses over that area, and that's it. Very, very, very simple. Very, very, random looking, but not overdone by any means, and enough to just show that they come out pretty far. And you pick up a little bit of that wet black and makes it a little gray. That's great. Who cares? That looks good actually. Okay, so there we go, like that. Bring that a little further. Okay, now I'm gonna. I'm a little concerned that my whiskers look a little too combed here, so I'm gonna get a little bit more white and wipe it off. And a couple more so they don't look like that. Maybe I'll cut through like this, you know, with one, and maybe cut in through here, and then that helps a lot. Helps a lot. Okay, now I'm gonna get that little small brush back to my eye, and then I'll put the eyeball on there. Hopefully by now it's dry, and I'm gonna get my little bit of white, and now I'll make a circle. Find the middle of the top, but not on that black line. I don't hit that black line, so right about there, like that, and then just make a little small circle. And remember, if we make a lousy circle, we can always haven't just painted the black, but just gonna tap it in there, and I'm gonna probably come back over that a little bit, but there we go. So he's got that eye. That pupil's a little big, so all I do is just come back in when it's dry and just kind of shave it off a little bit, you know. Here it's not dry, but let me just throw a bunch of paint on there so you can see, kind of like that. Just kind of shave it off some. That looks much better. So I could be a little smaller actually. I need to cut some out of that. I don't want that to look like it's going up over the lid, you know. There we go. That's much better, much better. So, so there he is. I think we're all done. That looks great. Looks great because it's done, not great because I did a good job. Okay, thanks. Good luck.